the second part of the sharing, okay, which is a guide to background of study. So just now you already, everybody know that in chapter 1 we have those 7 basic subsection, okay, and then the first subsection we have background of study. I like to make it clear, okay, that because sometimes I see that students are quite confused, okay, when they have chapter 1, okay, they know that chapter 1 is an introduction chapter, and then inside the chapter 1 they have subsection of introduction, and then they have background of study as well, okay. So we find out that they write like similar things under introduction subsection and with the background of study. So like we are confused as much as they are confused. So let's make it clear. I think let's stick to that basic subsection. Okay, we can start with background of study so that you're not confused. If you want to extend, like for example, before background of study, you want to have like an introduction to that chapter, introduction to chapter 1. Okay, so maybe you can put a different name, like in order for you not to confuse yourself or anyone. So maybe we can put something like preamble. Okay, so in that section you just explain on how the chapter goes on. Some people put it as chapter outline, for example. Okay, so after that preamble, then you can have a background of study. So again, I write here a guide. So meaning there's no right or wrong. Okay, and this is not the only way. This is only one of many ways that you can approach your chapter 1. Okay. Okay, what should we have in chapter 1? Sorry, in background of study. Okay, the first subsection. Okay, from my experience, looking into students' proposal as well as thesis, whether it's master thesis or PhD thesis, I think many still confused. Okay, between I mean, what should we write in chapter 1? So I have break down this background of study into 4. We call that 4 points. 4 points. Okay, so that you can actually start writing along this point, so that you are not going to like sidetrack, okay, or slip from the right path. Okay, so the first point, we can write about what is known about the topic. Okay, what is known about the topic, and then we can have second point as what is the missing link. Okay, sometimes we call it what is the gap of the study, or what are the issues of the study. Okay, so we can have that paragraph written in your background, and then after that we can have a paragraph, one or few paragraph on the significant. Okay, what is the significance of addressing this gap or this missing link or the issue? Okay, and then we can also have point number 4, what the study want to achieve. So basically it's like the general aims of the study. So these 4 points, okay, should be able to guide you to write the background of your study. And make sure that background of the study, okay, your study is not too long and not too short. Because sometimes students confuse that when we read their background of study, okay, it looks at, or it reads like a literature. Everything is in there. So you have to differentiate. That's why sometimes you see when we mark your thesis or your proposal, okay, there are some paragraph that we say shift to literature. Okay, this paragraph shift to literature, meaning to say that it is not that it's wrong or it's not important. It is, but then it is in the wrong section. Okay, so things like detailed definitions shouldn't be here in background. It should be in the literature. Okay, and then detailed description of every single variable, every single construct shouldn't be in background. Sometimes people write on the history of the settings. Okay, like for example, let's say you are doing research on homestay tourism. Okay, so there's like an evolution of homestay tourism in the background of study, so it shouldn't be there. Okay, it is not an LR section, so you should confine to this point. And another confusion is that some student put or write the background of study is like their problem statement. Okay, so we see these two things usually pop up in the background of study. Problem statement, where they identify the issue and gap, and then they discuss in detail, in depth of the issues. So it shouldn't be here, it should be in problem statement. Okay, so stick to this point, then you will be all right, inshallah. And then take note also when you write your background of study, okay, you should always write from general to specific. For example, when you introduce about the topic, what is known about the topic, okay, let's say we're talking about, for example, heritage tourism. Okay, so maybe you can write a bit, okay, what you know about heritage tourism worldwide, okay, and then you move to heritage tourism standing or status in Malaysia. So it's always from general to specific, worldwide to Malaysia. Okay, and then when you we can write about, like for example, the setting, okay, about the heritage tourism, and then you move to the theory part. So from research setting, move to theory. So that's how it should flow. Okay, from the setting means, for example, heritage tourism, and then next you introduce about the variables or the element that you want to look inside the heritage tourism, because heritage tourism is broad, for example. So what are the specific area that you want to zoom in? Okay, and then we also write in according to, the flow. It should go from the past to present. Like we speak about what other people have done in the previous research. So you like cite some of the findings of previous research, okay, and then you move to what you want, what this study want to achieve, or what you want to do, or the aim. So that's how it should flow. So I have arranged this point, okay, in according to the flow. All right, so it's good if you can stick to this point. Okay, what we have next. Okay, this is actually again some sample or specimen of background of study. Okay, this is actually a snapshot from journal. So you don't look at this title introduction. This is how I want to show the background of the study. What is known about the topic? Point number one. Okay, what is known about the topic? So like I said earlier, we go from general to specific. So for example, this study is on perceived value of homestay tourism, okay, in Malaysia. So we can introduce the topic, what we know about the topic. We can speak about the community based, the umbrella of it, the general part of it, and then we move to the Malaysian homestay tourism type. So that's from general to specific, okay? And then, okay, next, missing link. Okay, this is how people write missing link. For example, okay, I read for you here. Some scholars have attempted to explore the travel experiences of homestay tourists, but there has been no empirical research to develop an in-depth understanding of the concept of perceived value in this specific tourism context. So this is an example of the statement to indicate the missing link. Okay, the point number 2 in your background study. Okay, and then we can go to the significant point number 3. Okay, such a comparison would enable tourism providers to identify which value dimensions are performing well. So here an example of how people write the significance of study. Okay, and then you can move to the aims. Sometimes the point number 4 come first, sometimes it's the other way around, can be anyway. Okay, the aims like this study attempts to investigate this blah blah blah. All right, so when you write your background statement, background of the study, stick to these points. Okay. Okay, this is another example. So we can see like different researcher, they wrote differently based on several factors. Okay, based on the study that they do, the setting of the study, sometimes based on the type of the research. Okay, based on the methods that they approach. Okay, like here, a study on a model of perceived value for a leisure travel product. So they introduce the topic as, okay, so we can see they start with general first, the world experience and immense growth of tourism, and then they start writing about the world, and then next they zoom into a major contributor to the tourism industry is leisure travel. So they go into specific, okay, and then they also in the first paragraph talk about worldwide setting, and then next they zoom into in the US, I mean in a specific geographical area. So that's one way of introducing your topic. Okay, and then in terms of missing link, okay, this is how they write. Despite the fast growth of leisure travel in the world, research on the consumption behavior of leisure travel product buyers has been very limited. So we can see that this is actually the gap, or this is actually the issue that make them want to do the research. Okay, and of course, when you construct the statement, the missing link, okay, or the gap, the research gap or the issues, before you claim that this study, this area is still limited, or this variables or this element is still scarce, there's still missing figures, for example, and things like that. Before you write that, make sure that you have scarce your literature, okay? Because we don't want to simply write the missing link without looking or referring to the literature. When you write that something is limited or something that is underexplored still, you must know that what actually have been vastly researched in this area, in your area. Okay, so before you come up with a statement that this particular element or section or variable is limited or underexplored or lacking, okay, you must make sure that you already know, you have cited what have been massively researched by previous researcher in this particular area. Okay. And this is example, second example of how we write the significant point in the background of study. Okay, understanding the true nature of leisure travel behavior is only possible through designing research projects that consider the specific characteristic of leisure travel products. So if you compare between the two writers, okay, they wrote differently in different style. They use different sentences, construct different sentences, but then we can identify actually the 4 points that should be in the background of the study. Okay. Okay. Can we like have a 2 minutes break so that I can we have 2 minutes? Okay, we have
Sure, Doctor. Sure, Prof.
we have like 2 minute break so that I can get ready to that the third part, third section. Okay, hold on.